Chapter 2. The Natural Man. For the natural man is an enemy to God and has been from the fall of Adam and will be forever and ever unless he yields to the enticings of the Holy Spirit, and putteth off the natural man. Book of Mormon, Mosiah 3:19. Within the animal kingdom, nearly every creature will kill something if it needs food. Aquariums with dozens of different fish live in complete harmony if they have sufficient food. Ferocious lions become docile and tolerant of other animals when their stomach is full. In all of Africa, the only animal that kills for pleasure is the wild dog. In many places of the world today, there are men who also kill and torture for pleasure. How regrettable that the nature of so many men has descended to the level of wild dogs. What a pitiful commentary to realize that almost every beast of the jungle has a more exalted natural character than that of man. The natural man can easily become the most vicious and cruel of all the creatures of the earth. He can even become an enemy to his creator, and with a little effort he can become a full-fledged devil. In his crude thinking, man has thought that his greatest achievements were his military victories and the resulting subjugation of others, not the alleviation of human suffering. Thus nearly every empire has kindled the fires of its own cremation. How ironic that man often declares love for his fellow men, and then continues to create more advanced methods of killing and destroying them. On a few occasions, he has promoted freedom for all and then turned to make them slaves. Rarely has man shown love by sharing his last crust of bread, more often he has selfishly cheated or robbed his friends. It has been recorded that only a few men have walked and talked with God, most of them deny or ridicule him. What makes some men do good while others act like devils? Is it the food they eat, the parents they have, the color of their skin, or the environment they grow in? Is it the level of education or amount of wealth? What factors make him a saint or a sinner? Upon investigation, it is discovered that among the rich and poor, learned and ignorant, can be found both good men and bad. Thus, something else must govern the nature of a man. The wise Solomon said that as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23 verse 7, therefore, the character of man is molded by his own thinking. Just as his body is composed of what he eats, so his nature is formed by what he thinks, studies, believes, and comprehends. A man cannot draw from his mind that which he has not put there. That which he learns to believe or disbelieve is what molds the character of a man. How often civilizations have prospered or collapsed as a result of the gods they served. There have been silent gods, lustful gods, unknown gods, and man-made gods. But through the centuries man has been most proud of his war gods, and so he has been proud of his strength and ability as a fighter. Throughout history, the warrior has been regarded as the greatest hero, and war the most honored profession. For many millenniums man has been the savage barbarian who delighted in the killing of his own species. He lived on the coarsest food, plundered at will, and left cities behind in ashes. To rape, pillage, and kill was a way of life, and to him it was an heroic example of his courage. He felt it earned him the respect of his peers and his gods. It takes centuries for a civilized community to build a beautiful city, but only hours for conquering barbarians to wipe it out. Yet our historians gave these destroyers the title of great. There was Cyrus the Great, Alexander the Great, Napoleon the Great, and all the great Caesars. They were really great in plundering, great in greed, and great in arrogance, lust and despotism, but not very great in anything else. These men built a name for themselves by destroying civilizations. What did they ever constructively contribute to mankind? Other nuts like Lenin, Stalin, Hitler, and Tojo have thought the same: war, not peace, was their bloody path. The ultimate objective of most of these honored leaders was to conquer the world so they could make it an empire of slaves. In their search to conquer the world, their life still ended under 6 feet of earth. In seeking to gain the whole world, they lost their souls. These demented men who conquered nations over the dead bodies of their victims were essentially madmen. And when mankind, as a whole, recognize that these anarchists only throw civilization backwards hundreds of years, they will then commit these murdering barbarians to an asylum where they really belong. War, not peace; plunder, not profits, this was their motto, and they left very little positive contribution to humanity. When men prohibit the building of munitions and dethrone the men who want to use them, then we can say we are on the road to civilization. But tyrannies are seldom chosen by the people themselves. They are usually brought about by military victories or by a slow, insidious injection of poison into the mainstream of government. The tyrannies of the past and the present began like the growth of little weeds, at first so small and so insignificant that one hardly notices them. But gradually they become so prolific and so strong that they choke out a whole garden. These tyrannies begin as a small tax, an insignificant license, a few minor regulations or laws. Gradually they absorb the principles of freedom, little by little, until all their freedoms are gone and people become slaves to a dictatorial police state. The cunning operations of the devil are so clever and seemingly insignificant that he gains control of their politics, their religion, and their economy without people even knowing it. Hence, most laws, ideals, and deities are subtly changed. Greed, lust, desire for fame and power, these are the basic and carnal desires of the natural man. Paul understood this, for he said, "The natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him." 1 Corinthians 2 verse 14. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6 verse 12. Thus only by the Spirit of the true God of heaven can a man overcome and rise above the natural man and the darkness of this world.